Aries and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing something new where I'd like to do like a little astrology look ahead into the upcoming week. Kind of see if there's any messages, any cycles, anything you can break. And we're going to be breaking this down according to signs. So elemental, we'll do fire, earth, air, water, sun, moon, rising, north node, and Venus. Because for me, I know personally, I have very strong place sense. And sometimes my sun sign doesn't apply, but the bunch of Libra I do in my chart, that does. Listen to it, discern, and try and look at different perspectives because it's not always right in front of your face. And that can honestly be the most trickiest part about deciphering and kind of interpreting languages between whatever the astral realm is and this. So pay attention. We're going to be starting off with fire signs because I am a fire sign. So that is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, as I said, sun, moon, rising, north node, and Venus. So what can the fire signs expect for this upcoming week? This will be the first week of July, so we are into Cancer season. What can the fire signs expect? I have two decks I'm going to put together. What can they expect? How can they... Okay, thank you. Any cycles they should be aware of? Okay, how can they strengthen that? Oh, Jesus Christ. That's actually awesome, my bad. The major theme for this upcoming week is going to be speaking your truth. And the reason I said, ugh, Jesus Christ, is because a lot of you are coming into, it's not even your villain era because most of you are just healing people pleasers. So like, it's not your villain era, you're just setting boundaries. It can feel like your villain era, but like you're not being an asshole when you set a boundary. It just feels like you are. And if someone responds differently to it, and like, especially if they continue to respond differently to your boundary setting, they're a problem. So it's going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be an uncomfortable week, but honestly, it's for the best. I think this is something you've been dancing around for a long time. A lot of it's due to self-discovery. I'm not taking that. A lot of that's due to self-discovery. I think you've been feeling very unstable and very, like your root chakra, like your root energy meridian has been completely disrupted. Yep, lots of cycles, lots of aha moments, lots of like, this is where this ties in, this is where this ties in. That will be coming to an end because you're doing the right thing. Right now, you're also being challenged a lot by like your home life. I think there's some people maybe that aren't really suiting anymore. Maybe some family members, I don't know if you live with them, but they're definitely people that you interact with pretty frequently. They're not matching your vibration right now, and that's okay. Not everybody has to heal. Not everybody has the opportunity or the ability or the privilege to heal. Like, that's okay. But you also, that doesn't mean you have to put up with it. Blood is thicker than water is the most toxic bullshit I've ever heard. So if this is resonating with you, remember that the people who are telling you that, you know, stays within the family, blood is thicker than water, that is an abusive narrative. And when you bring that up to somebody, however, that doesn't always go over super well. So I will say probably pulling back and knowing in your mind that you are doing the right thing and that this person, I don't think this is someone that you can really challenge, and that's okay. You don't have to challenge everybody. So just sometimes responding differently is more than enough. So keep that in mind. I think a lot of you too are going through this. I keep hearing like gray rocking. So keep that up. Keep that up. Keep that energy up. People aren't entitled to, at 404 as I say that, people aren't entitled to every aspect of you. People aren't entitled to shit, so don't worry. We have Angel of Love in reverse on top of letting go in reverse. So this is telling me right now there's a lot of heartbreak here on the table and also a lot of isolation and maybe some abandonment. That's the word I'm looking for. The abandonment wound. And that can show up in so many different ways. That can show up in, you know, perhaps like a boss moving on and, you know, you having great connection with like a superior and them moving on and you not having closure. That can hurt. And if you don't honor that, that will keep popping up. So sometimes it's as simple as looking at how people impact you and being like, damn, that's a blessing. Thank you. Or a lot of this too is I think you're starting to recognize perhaps that you love differently than other people, and that's okay. That's a good thing. So keep that up. That's just gonna be uncomfortable. And you will have people come around that will match your energy. Trust and believe me, you will. There's a lot here too about logic, money. Like, so like the masculine energy. A little bit more of this, please. Okay. I think things feel very, very tight right now for a reason, and that is actually probably pretty triggering. If you haven't explored that, I think that might be a good idea. I think perhaps right now you're entering cycles of, as an adult, I think you either are looking at your parents and being like, damn, that's why that happened. You're either seeing people in a new light in a good way or a bad way. But either way, I think this is coming around. There's a lot here. I'm seeing someone write down like a budget and a grocery list and like actually meal plan. And like, if this is new for you, for some reason, I think this is super fucking triggering for you. There's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, if this is super triggering, 555, as I said that, if this is super triggering, that means A, you're almost at the end of it, and B, there's a reason for it. So whether that's you don't think that you are deserving of a budget or like meal planning or learning how to do that stuff, this is a skill that you have to learn. And let me tell you, as someone who grew up in fucking survival mode, people don't teach that shit. So this is a skill. Budgeting is a skill you have to learn. And if no one, if like you were too busy surviving as a kid and like not learning and growing as other people do, those people had a major advantage over you as a kid. For some reason, this feels a lot like you're seeing where you were. I love the word undeserving, because like I was gonna say like misserved, or like how like other people did win a little bit more than you, but it's like you're at this point right now where you're like, I know I wasn't undeserving. I know it wasn't me. And it's okay to get mad about that. I hope this is making sense. I think this is going to make sense to a few people. If you haven't gotten into therapy yet, might be a good idea. And now it doesn't have to be traditional therapy. I am a huge fucking believer in therapy and talk therapy. I've been in and out of therapy since I was fucking 14 years old. But for the last 3 years, I've been working with an amazing therapist who has helped me dramatically. I do EMDR, DBT, CBT, like all of it. But it's not, I will say, that isn't for everybody. It can be really intimidating for people. But though that doesn't mean you don't get to heal. That doesn't mean that. That just means you need to find a different source. Sometimes it's looking to a spiritual person and going to, now while you shouldn't believe every reading and you shouldn't fucking live your life based on what other readers tell you, there is something very beneficial in having a spiritual third party come in and explain these ties to you. So if you find someone you vibe with, there's nothing wrong with like doing shadow work and using that reader as a helping tool, but you still got to do the work. Whether that's like, say you're the person who's struggling with budgeting, set yourself a budget, fucking meet it, and then save a little bit extra and treat yourself. Treat yourself 2023. This is what we're doing. You know, that is fucking healing. I think there's something about, you know what it is? I think a lot of you, honestly, are doing a really good job at healing. You're just moving into a new level. And there's nothing wrong with finding other ways to heal. That can actually be fun, especially if you didn't have that as an opportunity as a kid. If you didn't have the ability to kind of figure your shit out and figure where you belong and all that stuff, this is gonna be great. Like literally, like for me personally, a lot of inner child healing is like going to like the water slides and like stuff like that. That's huge for me. That can be super healing in and of its own. So, damn, I have a candle going and it's like all the way out, and I lit it 9 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, so back to this. It doesn't have to be, all healing doesn't have to be hard either. You know, trauma kind of gets in there and kind of sneaks in without us noticing sometimes. That healing can be the same. So I think I'm going to do one more shuffle and see where I can get a little like, let's see if there's a little bit more other than, because this feels very much like that sucks. You're doing great, but we're just learning how to, I think you're like, yeah, it's like I see, you know how, I dropped a card. You know the hermit crab. You know how they move from shell to shell? That's what I see. You're like moving out of your shell and going into a different one. It's like a bigger home. So anything for the fire signs, any words of wisdom, good luck, anything like that. That's okay. Rest and relaxation came out sideways. Okay, all tied up in reverse, which means this is now divinely driven. I just want a little bit more clarification on why that's, because I do take those a sideways. Okay. Yeah, the more you speak the truth, the more you will be rewarded by whatever you believe in. 10-10, as I said that. You will be rewarded by like whether you believe in like a god or goddesses or yourself or higher power, whatever, you will be rewarded the more you speak your truth. Physics, energy flows where energy goes. So whatever you believe in, that will be rewarded this week. Just want a little bit on, okay. There was stuff that was being hidden from you. Hold on. Not in the way of like deceit, but you were not playing with a full deck. I think that a lot of you, and like me personally, for the last 9 months, I've been feeling like there's a huge chunk that I'm missing. That's coming to an end. The more you speak your truth, that's coming to an end. Whatever creative endeavor you've been putting off, that's not gonna be, I feel like Spirit's taking that out of your hands. Definitely. I think that they're fucking, okay. And the reason the rest and relaxation or rest and rejuvenation came in reverse is because if you don't make the choice to actively rest, they will make it for you. So you don't have a choice. So rest and rejuvenation doesn't have to be sleeping. It literally can just be painting. It's finding small times throughout the day where you're not constantly thinking about other people. Especially if you're a recovering people pleaser. That can be uncomfortable. And if you're setting boundaries, it's really normal behavior for you to throw yourself into other things. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's like some nice ASMR. I love it. Spirits, yeah. So they're gonna come in and have you rest and get rejuvenation. Like you don't have to sit there and meditate, but maybe sitting outside, touching some grass, while drinking a glass of water, that's beneficial. I'm just listening. Yeah. Because that's a privilege. And I think some of you are being stretched so thin right now that being told that you need to do something else is probably make you want to like, but unfortunately, this is where you have to find what works for you, but you don't have a choice. Like you cannot avoid this any longer. They will come in and stop you. Like you'll get a cold, you'll get sick, you'll get something. So finding ways to rejuvenate on the go is really beneficial too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Things are starting to slide into place for you as well. So I think that's why they want you to focus on like speaking your truth, finding your peace, and serving your creative self. That's it. That's the end all be all for this week. So if you want to write down on your board, all Rachel said I have to do is try and be creative, speak my truth, and find a little way to relax every day. I think that's very doable. Thank you for attending my first ever filmed elemental weekly reading. If this does well, I will hopefully be back to doing this every week. So take care and I love you. Blessed be.